Okay, so after I've done my foundation, my primer, my foundation, I'm gonna move on to concealer. There, again, are several concealer choices. For the longest time, I was using the Instant Age Rewind. I think it is by Maybelline. Yes. And this is a drugstore product. It has a sponge applicator. Basically, you click it up to get the product out. And let me wipe off my hand now. Basically, you would press the sponge onto the skin and out comes your concealer there. This is pretty cheap actually. I think it's only maybe, I think it's under 10 bucks. And it really works great. A lot of, YouTubers use this. They highly recommend it. I've used it for the longest time and I don't have an issue. I'm actually gonna go ahead and apply it to this side of my face. So where I put the concealer is basically under my eye. Any parts of my face that I want to highlight or brighten. I don't have really bad dark circles, so I'm not looking necessarily to conceal anything. I just want to add a little bit of brightness to my face. So I'll put it under here. And you'll see some people do a triangle formation, which is completely fine. I'll do it along my nose and then in the hollow of my cheek. And leave it at that. If you want to use a brush, you can use the same brush you use to do your foundation, or there are specific brushes that are out there for concealer. It's completely up to you. If you use a brush, I do recommend patting it into the skin versus rubbing it into the skin. Basically, you're just going to rub it all over if you were to just start brushing it away. Obviously, I'm applying a fair amount of pressure to get it into the skin. And then just down the center of my nose. And so you can see now there's some brightness here in the hollow of the cheek. On the other side, I'm going to use the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Light Medium Honey. This is really, really popular, and it has a different type of applicator. It's a doe foot applicator. It's pretty big, and a little of this goes a long way. A lot of YouTubers rave about this concealer in particular. It definitely is a full coverage concealer. And I am going to do my Cupid's bow and right under my chin. These would be all of the places I would highlight if I was just using one of these. Down the nose, and then I would even do just a few little lines right there in the center of my forehead. They do have other types of concealer, one that comes in pot. If you want to use that, for that you would have to use a brush to get it out. I mean, I guess you could use your finger, but I probably wouldn't. So now I'm going to take my beauty blender, and I don't apply the concealer directly under my eye, only because I do have fine lines under there and I really don't want to highlight that. So I just bring it down a little bit further to kind of avoid highlighting my fine lines and wrinkles that I don't want you to see. So basically, I'm just patting it in there and taking it all the way to my hairline. And then same thing in the center of my cheek, and I will explain later why I highlighted there. And then just in the center of my chin, my Cupid's bow, and then just the very top of my T-zone. The Tarte Shape Tape Concealer you can purchase on Tarte's website. You can purchase it at Ulta, Sephora. I take that back, you cannot purchase it at Sephora. You can only purchase it at Ulta. And it runs about $25 or so. But you get a lot in there. Let's see. It has 0.3381 fluid ounces. And the one from Maybelline It doesn't say, but I feel like you get more use out of the Tarte, although this did really last me a long time. So it's completely up to you. I say they're just as good as each other. This one has a little bit more full coverage versus this one. But again, it's what you're looking for. I prefer the Tarte Shape Tape. I think it adds just a little bit more pop to the skin than the Maybelline. So now that I've got my primer, my foundation, my concealer all done, I'm actually going to move into bronzing. You can contour and bronze, you can just contour. It's completely up to you. For bronzing, I'm basically using you want to use like a warm brown. You don't want to be orange. You want to avoid that. So this is TASTIC by Marc Jacobs. This is a fairly expensive bronzer. I think it was in the $40–50 range. It is limited edition. You don't need a $50 bronzer. You can use, they've got one from Too Faced. I think it's called, this is just a very, very small sample, but I do like the Too Faced one. So this is the Milk Chocolate Soleil, and it's a very warm, but for more fair skin tones. They do, and it smells like chocolate, it smells hella good. And they do have a darker one if you want to go a little bit darker. It's completely up to you. You can also use the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This would be a drugstore bronzer. This one also smells really, really good. It smells like coconuts and tanning in the beach, and this is about $15. This is a little bit on the expensive end as far as drugstore is concerned, but I definitely think it's worth the price. So I'm actually going to use the drugstore one on this side of my face, keep it with drugstore products here, and then I'll use the Marc Jacobs one on the other side. So as far as brushes are concerned, you can use a stippling brush. I wouldn't use something this small. You can use like a flat kabuki if you choose. You can use something more tapered and I guess really pointed. If you're looking for that really, really crisp line, you can use that. My personal preference is to use either something like this or something tapered. So this is a angle brush, and this brush over here is more like a blush brush. I mean, it does have like a rounded edge. It's really up to you, whichever you prefer. I will do the drugstore with the rounded edge, and I'll do the higher end one with the tapered edge. So I'm just gonna take a little bit, and really the purpose of the bronzer is to warm up your skin, to kind of bring back some color into it. And obviously I didn't tell you what foundation is for, but basically it's to give you an all over even skin tone. If you have uneven skin tone, redness, things that you want to cover up, you can do that. Another thing that you can do with your concealer is if you have blemishes or areas that you want to cover up, dab a little bit. And I would even say take a smaller brush. You can use anything like an angled brush. Grab a little bit off of your applicator and apply it to the blemish itself. You don't want to just stick it on there and now you've got a big old cakey mess on top of a blemish that you're not wanting people to see, when in fact all you did was just really highlight it, that it was there. Just a little tip. So basically swirl it around, get enough. I would knock off just a little bit, especially when you're first going in, because you don't want to go in heavy-handed. If anything, you want to go light-handed and then build it up until you get the look that you desire. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to do also with this bronzer is give the illusion that I have a really nice cheekbone, but in fact I really have chubby cheeks. So you don't want to add too much, because then you start looking crazy. So I'm just adding enough, because basically I want my cheekbones to appear sharper. Then I'm going to add some bronzer to underneath my jawline, because I want my jawline to appear more pronounced. Also, you kind of want to do, that's not even a thing. You kind of want to bring this down, unless you're hella red like me, to your neck, so that you're not looking like, okay, your face is one color, your neck is another. Not okay. Then you can stop here. You don't even have to have bronzer. It's really up to you. It depends on how you look after your foundation. I want to bring a little bit of color to my face, and like I said, I want to highlight certain areas and give the illusion, again, that I have a nice cutout jawbone and cheekbones. If you don't like your forehead, you want to make it appear a little bit smaller, you can add a little bit of bronzer. So I would just go right here to your hairline and just kind of rub it along the hairline. Now, if you have light hair like me, you are going to get that bronzer in your hair. You could take a makeup wipe to your hair and wipe it out. But I do like to connect it all the way. So I'm connecting it from the top of my forehead, down my temple, through my cheek. I don't want there to be an area that doesn't have coverage, because again, I also want to give the illusion that this is a natural glow, a natural tan. And that's kind of, you want to keep it uniform. Now, seriously, I'm not understanding what the deal is with random brush hairs. So that's basically, you can do this to your nose. You can take a smaller brush if you want to the side of your nose, and you can contour that if you choose. I don't do a lot to my nose. I don't really find it like a problem area. So you could just take like a smaller, like flat kind of shader, and you can take it down like this side of your nose. You can take it up to your eyebrow. That is going to create a shadow. So think about how that might look overall on your eyes. Do you have small eyes, big eyes, a lot of space? It's really up to you. The best way to see if you like something, test it out. It's kind of a pain to like test out makeup and try different things, because applying it takes so long, and then you go partway through and you mess it up and you want to start over. And then you can just kind of like buff it out a little bit. This is not something I do on the daily. I don't really have like an issue with my nose or anything like that. But I do want to, because I don't have a very pronounced chin, want to create that jawline by using that shadow. So on the other side, I was thinking that I could go into contouring and kind of give you an idea of how to do that. If you want to see like a separate video more in depth on contouring, leave a comment down below, because I'd be happy to do that too. For me, I felt very confused between bronzing and contouring and what was the difference. And do you need to do both? Should you do both? Can you do both? Bronzing, I feel, that's more like an everyday thing. It doesn't take that long. It adds warmth to your face, and you're still kind of carving out your face, but it's not so involved. I feel like contouring really takes some time. It takes a little bit of practice, a little level of skill, because you are playing with lights and shadows, because you're wanting to create high points on your face and shadows to kind of give you that balance. So I do have a contouring kit that I bought, and you'll see that there's not a lot missing out of it. So this is the TARTEIST Pro Glow contouring palette, and you'll see this is what it looks like. So right here is a cream contour. I've never touched it. I've been a little bit intimidated by the cream contour, but I think I'm at a level now where I'm willing to give it a try. So here you've got your bronzing powder, Jesus, if you choose to use it. And then you've got some highlights and things like that. The difference in contouring powders is they should have more of like a gray or cooler tone, again, because you're wanting to create a shadow. Bronzing you're using to warm up your face, bring some life back into it, some color. So again, it's completely up to you what you choose. So I am going to actually go ahead and try this cream contour. For this, I'm going to use my beauty blender, and I'm just going to take a little bit out of there. And really the technique is the same as far as where we're laying this down. So I'm going to go ahead and start here by my ear and just kind of drag it across right underneath the cheekbone. So my cheekbone is there. And I'm going to go ahead and just start blending it. Like I said, it's a little bit more work than the bronzing. I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to just kind of clean it up there. Then I'm going to take it and I'm just going to put it along my hairline. Same process. Now this other side I've already done with powder, so I can't go in with a cream, or you shouldn't. It will cause your makeup to separate, and I don't think you can come back from that without having to redo everything. Alright, so that is a very, very, very light contour. And I don't want to get crazy, so as you can see, I just keep building it up without overdoing it. So you can see there's some definition there in my cheek. And I'm not going to put the cream on my jawline. I'm going to go ahead and go in with powder. Now I could go over the cream with the powder, that's completely fine, and I probably will do that. So I'm going to use the tapered brush, and again, just putting it in the pan. And this is that Marc Jacobs TASTIC. It is limited edition for the summer. I had to have it because it's pretty, and I am addicted to makeup. So I'm going to go over the cream contour on my forehead with the bronzing powder, and I'm just adding a little bit of warmth into it, and then I'm also going to go over that cream contour on my cheek. And so even though I did each side with different stuff, I feel like this has a little bit more definition in it, and it's probably because I did the cream and a powder. So I could go into the side of my nose with the cream, and I'm just going to pick a little bit up on the same brush. That's that flat like shader, and again I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to carve out. Now you can see that is hella dark, So before we get crazy, I'm just gonna take some off the brush and just kind of pull down the product I already have on there. And I am gonna take it up to the eyebrow. And then I'm just gonna take my beauty blender, which is a little bit hard to do. They make different size beauty blenders. I have used the small one before. I don't love it. I don't know. I think just the regular size one is sufficient. So that's pretty much where that's at. I can go over it a little bit with the powder. I don't want to get too crazy because it is my face after all. Not that I have anywhere to go, but. So now I've got my contour, my bronzer all down. And this is definitely not something that you should feel the need to have to do every day. I do think the bronzing every day adds a little bit of warmth to your skin. The contouring, if you have the time and you want to do it every day, sure, go ahead, go for it. But I'll spend a little bit more time on stuff like that if I'm going out or if it's a special event, nice dinner. I'll put in the time and do the contouring. This palette itself, I think was maybe 50 bucks, but it does contain multiple powders and the creams. So you get 6 in the pan. Okay, so something that I do think is worth doing, and I do it every day, is I do use a translucent loose powder. This one is Laura Mercier, and I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've been around YouTube for quite some time, and you know that this is a highly talked about product. This is what it looks like on the inside. And the other one that is really, really popular is the RCMA No Color Powder. This one is also popular. This one is about $12. The only downfall with it is it's like a spice jar basically. So what I've done with mine is I've put it in just like a little cup basically. You can't really see that, and I just spilled it everywhere. And I use it for my eyelids, set my face, whatever. So this is the $12 RCMA powder. You can get it off Amazon. It's not sold in the stores as far as I know. You can use a pressed powder, and so that would be your traditional compact basically. This is a pressed powder, and it has, this one has a sponge type, I guess, like applicator in it. I bought this separately, but this is a powder puff, and it goes with the Laura Mercier translucent powder. So what I like to do is I will take my beauty blender and I just put it into the top just like this, and it's still a little bit damp. You can dust it off. I feel like no matter what you do, this is going to get on your clothes, it's going to get on your shirt. If you have some magic trick, let me know what it is. So it looks like this. And basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply this to areas I wanna set. So when people are baking, this is what they're using. So what I'll often do is, and this is one of the reasons that I applied that highlighter to this area, or not the highlighter, the concealer. So I'm gonna take this and I'm going to press it into my skin, all down this side. And you can add more. And basically what that's gonna do is this is gonna define that line that I created with either the contour or the bronzer. And it's really dependent upon how long you leave it there. You don't have to leave it there at all. What I like to do when I'm getting ready is leave it on until I've applied. And so you can see this area right here. I'm not sure why it's forming that kind of weird, I don't know, it's weird. It's almost like I put like a cream down, but there is no cream down, so that's weird that it's reacting on this side. But again, we do have different foundations and different primers. So this was the drugstore side, this was the Wet n Wild. Maybe there's some type of reaction with the powder and the Wet n Wild. Then what I'll also do is I will also put it, again, not directly under my eye. If you're younger and you don't have those fine lines, you don't have those wrinkles, you can definitely put it in the corner of your eye if you so choose. But I would prefer not to highlight the areas that I don't want to see, or I don't want to show you. Then I will take it, again, just getting more powder, and I'm gonna apply this on my forehead. What I like about this particular powder is it kind of blurs out the fine lines, your wrinkle lines in your forehead, in between your brows, and you can just press it in. I'll also take a little bit and put it down the center of my nose, because we've done our contour and our bronzing on the outer part, and we want to highlight the center part of the nose. So what I would normally do is apply a primer to my eyelids, start working on my eyes, and then I would go ahead and start removing the bake. You can take it off immediately, you can press it into your skin, it's whatever you choose to do. I do like using the powder puff, so you can kind of just sweep it off if you want. And then I just kind of touch up the area with it. The setting powder helps keep your makeup in place. It also helps in the areas that you may be oily, so your T-zone, you would want to set here, your nose, and maybe even that top part of your brow. You can go over and just kind of press it in if you want. And so I would normally prime my eyes and start working on that, but since I'm not going to be doing my eyes, I'll go ahead and just basically flip it off. And what it does when you leave it on your under eye, it does help you bake, but then, or set it, but then it also, if there's fallout from your eyeshadow, you would sweep it off without having to basically go back in with a wipe and try to get it off. So it just depends on the look that you're doing and the order in which you do your makeup. There is no particular order. It's really just preference. And depending on the look I'm going to do, if I'm going to do like a really like hard like cat eye look with tape, I'll do my foundation everything second, because I don't want to pull tape and have it pull up everything that I just did. Pressed powder. With a pressed powder, you can use a brush if you choose. Just roll it around, apply it to your skin. You can use the pad that they give you, press it in. It's completely up to you. This will also set your foundation. It won't do quite the job that the translucent setting powder will do, but it's completely up to you. This is a Too Faced product, so this I think was about maybe $30-ish, $25, $30. The Laura Mercier powder probably runs, it's like you can't help it. The Laura Mercier powder runs about 40 bucks. And then this was actually sold separately. This I think was about maybe $12 to $15. You don't have to purchase this. I just chose to because I like to be able to press it in. So the next thing up would really be a highlight. Your eyes are all done, you want to add that highlight. It's completely up to you. Basically, you want to think about highlight in the sense of, do you have texture on your face? Is it going to bring out that texture? Do you want a blinding highlight? Do you want a really subtle highlight? Depends on the event you're going to, or how much you want it to just be a bam in your face thing. So you could do, there's a liquid highlight where you would just take this and you could apply it to the back of your hand, like so. You can use your beauty blender and basically apply it to where you want highlighted. I wouldn't go that far, I know I'm not gonna, but basically to the top of your cheekbones, let's say. Some people even do up past their temple to their eyebrow. You could do highlight your nose, the tip, or up the center. I'm going to show you on the BECCA palette. And this would be your highlighter here. You would just basically take it on a brush, get Pixie with Miriam Maquillage collab, and basically I'm just going to apply it to the edge, and I'm just going to take it and do the same thing. Put it on the top of my cheekbone, and just bring it a little up my temple towards my eyebrow, and you can do your Cupid's bow if you so choose, and that would be it for highlight. As far as blush is concerned, blush is actually my favorite thing to wear. I will wear that even if I'm not wearing any makeup. You could do your blush before your highlight, which I recommend. I just didn't do them in order because... so I've been really loving this brush in general. You just pick up a little bit and just kind of want to apply it to the apples of your cheek. And then just get it blended in there. And when it comes to blush, I feel like you can buy pretty much any blush. Drugstore, buy high-end. It's really just your preference. I use the Tarte, and this is in the shade Natural Beauty. It looks terrifying in the pan, like holy shit, if I put that on, am I gonna look like a clown? And the short answer is no, you're not. It's just gonna depend on how much you put on. Obviously, again, this would apply to the start light-handed, and build up to what you're looking for. You just add a nice little touch to your face. You can add a little bit to like the tip of your nose if you want to. Again, it's completely up to you, and I feel like that's the beauty of makeup in general, is that all of these things you can use any way you choose. It's your face. It's your artwork. It's your creation. Whatever you feel is what you do. That was one of the very first things I learned in watching YouTube is it's up to you. If no one's judging you, no one is putting you down or telling you don't wear that, or you wear too much makeup, or you shouldn't choose that color, or that color's not for you. Whatever you feel is what you can wear. If you feel like, damn, I look so hot in red lipstick, rock it. No one's gonna tell you that you don't. However you feel is what you project. So play around with it. Look at what you have. I mean, for me, I love glitter, I love sparkle, I love all bright colors. I don't care what people think. I'll wear that shit to a grocery store. It doesn't matter. If I like it, that's what matters at the end of the day to me. So hopefully this has answered some of your questions as to what are all of these products that are talked about daily on YouTube, and do you need them? The short answer is it's up to you. Whatever you feel like is going to give you the look that you want. Full coverage, then I say don't cake up on the BB creams, the CC creams, just go primer, because I do think that is important. A good primer is basically your base. That's what you're going to build off of. And then go to your foundation. If you're looking for that full coverage, then find a full coverage foundation that works for you. I do think that if you invest a little bit of money, you kind of get what you pay for, but same time, Wet n Wild, I mean, that was pretty legit foundation. It was only $5. Now, is every drugstore foundation great? No. So I definitely think it does pay to watch, you know, reviews and swatches and things like that, but don't let someone make the decision for you. If one person doesn't like it or it didn't work for them, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try it if you really want to try it. Worst case scenario, you take it back. I mean, really, switch it out for something else. Something that you might like better, or maybe something that you really wanted to try. If you're looking for that light coverage, then I say try out the BB cream. Put down a little bit of primer first and do the BB cream and see if that gives you the look you want. If you start light, you can always build up. If you're starting heavy and dark, you're probably gonna have to redo everything. So just kind of keep that in mind. And it's always creams, powders, never powders then cream, because it's gonna give you kind of what happened down here with the weird way that my makeup kind of responded to that translucent powder. Even though we didn't go in that order, I'm not really sure what happened, but I mean, it looks fine now, but I'm not sure what initially did that. So it's kind of good to keep track of what you're using, what order you're using it in, and how it looks on your skin and how your skin feels. The very last thing that I will touch on as far as face goes is an overall setting spray, and I use the MAC setting spray. You don't have to use MAC, you can use whatever you choose. So I use MAC, and so I would use this after my eyes were done. Recently I did watch, I think it was Nikki Tutorials who said to use it before you do your eyes, just so everything kind of sets. So basically it's just a fine mist. This one smells like coconut, so it smells delicious. This is called the MAC Prep and Prime. This is like $15. I think for the bigger one it's like $15, $24. This one was $12, but it's one of their special ones, so it's the coconut scented one that they don't always have. You can get the Milani setting spray, which is really good, so that's the drugstore brand. e.l.f. has a setting spray, which is also a drugstore brand, or you can get it from Target. Just something to kind of set your makeup in place. You can also use them kind of throughout the day to refresh your makeup or refresh your face if you're feeling just kind of like blah and your makeup is starting to feel gross. Put a little bit of spray on it. I do use the Mario, I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right, or Badescu spray. It smells really good. It has like aloe in it. You can spray it to kind of refresh throughout the day. So basically, in a nutshell, we've covered pretty much everything that you would put on your face, or pretty much everything that you've probably heard of watching YouTube videos. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more in-depth videos like contouring, highlighting, eyes, priming, prepping, eyeshadow, how to do liner or eyebrows and eyelashes, leave a comment below, because I think I'd like to do an in-depth video for each kind of part of the face or each component that we use daily to do our makeup. But thank you so much for watching, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and the bell so you'll get notifications when I post new videos. And thank you so much for watching.